Good afternoon, Professor Anapsa.
Good afternoon, Josh. How are you?
I'm good, Professor. How are you?
I'm good.
I only have a few questions for you. Actually, it's one question.
Okay.
A lot of citizens, a lot of proletariats have been complaining about the cost of living being high into this terra firma Mother Zambia. So we just want to hear from you as a professor. What advice would you give on that?
Let me say with all sense of responsibility put unto me that this is not an issue that even a man like me, a man of academic prowess, a man at his educational zenith can avoid, because this is an issue that has touched each and every Zambian regardless of their financial status and stamina, and inclusive of the hoi polloi as well. Be that as it may, let me say this is an issue that ought to be looked upon perspicaciously and scrupulously, especially by each and every Zambian. And the question is, who is the person that should handle this issue? And the answer is you and me. This begins with you and me, because the honors probandi to take Zambia to that Kilimanjaro peak is yours and me. Therefore, all the blame shouldn't be put upon the president. And believe you me, time and again, when I hear all this acerbity, when I hear all this virulence, and also this acrimonious acrimony being thrown under the president, who in this case is just a receptacle of all what bad things have been talked about him, really puts me into a state of mental pabulum and also tata demalion. With that said, I'm urging each and every person, each and every Zambian, that let's work in tandem, let's work manus in manu to ensure that we have the Pax Zambiana of our choice and not just blaming the president. And this is also an issue of res ipsa loquitur. This thing speaks for itself. We are talking about a president that has put himself into self-immolation and self-abnegation. The president has been working time and again without number, becoming an itinerant person, moving up and down to ensure that Zambians are well served. Their modus vivendi is pushed to the next level and next crescendo of their lives. But at the end of the day, all he receives are just insults from these political hooper-ups, these political chichidodos and political muchachos that are just there to speak from the other side of their mouth in just trying to satiate their political egos. Believe you me, Josh, I can speak with all sense of responsibility, and I can give an administrative cum terendum that the president has done much from the inception, the prolegomena, and the terminus aqua of his leadership tenure, that was 2021 until to date. And if I were to arithmetically rate him, I was going to say the president has scored quite a Pantagruelian and Brobdingnagian quantum of works to his name. We are talking of free education. We all know and aware that free education is the first color aspect in the growth of every economy. Therefore, it ought to be apostatized and emblematized, because once we have a learned population, meaning our country is moving at a very good trajectory. We are also talking about the introduction of the NAPSA partial withdrawal, where each and every worker has to enjoy a bit of their monies before they get to retire, because way back and in their cake ways of doing things, or modus operandi, people used to die leaving their monies. But the president has deemed it fit and wise that each and every Zambian should have a share of their monies. Away from that, we are also looking at the president that has blessed us with a CDF, one of its kind. Every constituency, every council is receiving huge quantums of monies. Every individual, every cooperative is receiving huge quantums of spondulics, wongas, and mazumas or budos in order to change their lives. And the president ought to be given all the kudos and ought to be eulogized and panegized in that way and manner. Not only that, Josh, we are talking about a president that has done so much for this country, a president that has given us huge quantums of employment, be it in the educational sector, the health sector, and different aspects of life, inclusive of the security sector, that is the Zambia Army and the ZAF, also the ZNS. This is a president that has done so much, and all in all, we have to support our president in all what he is doing, because comparing the president to other presidents that have come and have gone, this is a situation that I would call as the post-oak egg proster oak, which is saying that comparing the president is indeed very bad. Therefore, we need to support our president. I know we are not yet into the promised land, and the president gave us a lot of promises in his political pronunciamiento and endeavors during his campaigns, but all in all, he's trying his level best, and all he needs is our high level of support. Therefore, let us not become political mugwams, let us not become political bystanders. Let us stand on that political scaffold and make sure that we also participate in the growth of this country. Let us not be onlookers, because the honors probandi to move Zambia to where it ought to be is yours and me, and in that manner we need to stand firm with our hands at akimbo, and when we get to sit on our recliners, let us sit like Leo to make sure that we look perspicaciously and scrupulously with all levels of soko, aplomb, chaspa and intrepidity to make sure that Zambia is saved in its best way, and let us not leave all this into the hands of these odd leaders. The youths ought to stand up and move away from this gerontocracy, which is being government ruled by the odd people. The youths need to stand up and stop cromassing under the tables of this leadership. Whenever they're eating, we get to pick these scraps of little food. We need as well to take a step into this leadership table and be on the piazza of leadership and see how best we can grow our country. And I'm speaking with Sancta Simplicitas as Professor Wanapsa Wasankwa Masuti, man of suits, the only Zambian to have shaken hands with the only late Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, that we ought to stand up, we ought to macadamize and stamp our feet into the leadership and also the governance of this country, because the president, this is a president that has stood firm to ensure that each and every Zambian is given a life that is coruscating and rutilating at that level and echelon. Therefore, the president ought to be supported. Believe you me, Josh, I can speak in jejunities and platitudes, just trying to appreciate what the president has done. But believe you me, there's no word in the dictionary that I can release. I can end up releasing the whole dictionary unto you to make sure you understand what the president has done. And this is a president that has done only, like I said, only 4.779% of the out of the 10. And given chance, by 2025, this president would have achieved 6% out of the 10%. And given another term, this president will achieve 10% out of 10 of all what he promised in his political pronunciamiento. I rest my case, Josh. But before I get to go, let me urge you to register your 1xBet accounts using my promo code NAPSA1X and get that 100 to 300% bonus upon making your first deposit. I rest my case. Concrete board. Kunya.